Hey guys, welcome to this video on the explanation for electricity bill. That's for a prosumer, solar prosumer. Prosumer is someone who imports from the electricity utility as well as exports to the electricity utility. So in this case study, we are taking the electricity solar bill from Kerala State Electricity Board Limited. That's KSEBL. It's a demand come disconnection notice. They are demanding money for the service offered for the previous month, as well as a disconnection notice means that if the payment is delayed due to any reason beyond a certain date, they have the right to disconnect. So this is a notice for that also. This is as per the regulation 122 and 123 of Kerala's Electricity Supply Code 2014. So the section is mentioned here, your section, the which area your electricity bill belongs to. One state is divided into different electrical sections that will be mentioned here. The phone number of the electrical section concerned will be mentioned here. The customer care number, that is the toll-free number for any issue related to KSEB, that is 1912 is mentioned here. The consumer number, unique for every individual, is mentioned here. The registered mobile number, that is your mobile number registered with the utility or KSEB, is mentioned here. This is a regular bill. The KSEB GST number is mentioned here. For any complaints or grievance approaching grievance, you can see the toll-free numbers or the land phone numbers for different zones. So Kerala is divided into different zones. So South zone will be in Kottarakara, the number provided. The Central zone will be in Kalamassery, the number provided. The North zone will be in Kozhikode, the number provided. The State Electricity Ombudsman is also mentioned here, and the number has been provided. That's at a higher level escalation. Then your bill number that is different for each month is mentioned here. Your bill area. Where is your bill area within the particular electricity section? So the electricity section that is mentioned here is further divided into different bill areas. So that bill area is mentioned here. Then the DTR. The DTR means the distribution transformer number is or the details is mentioned here. The billing period. So for KSEB connections, normally pre-solar, that is non-solar consumers are billed on a bi-monthly basis in 2 months. And once you install solar, you are a prosumer. So your billing becomes monthly. Every month, usually in the first week of the month, the bill is generated. So this particular billing period is December 2025, and the bill date generated is 6/12/2025, 6th of December, that is within the first week. Now the tariff for phase LT1, that is a domestic tariff, is used here particularly. It is a three-phase connection. If it was single phase, it would be mentioned single phase here. After that, the pole number is mentioned. From which pole the electricity is drawn into your house, that number is mentioned. Again, these details are basically for the reference of the KSEB to easily identify the problem when you lodge a complaint on the KSEB app. The bill date is mentioned here, the due date. So usually the due date is the date when you have to pay the bill. That's usually after 10 days of the bill date. So 16/12/2025. Then the DC or the disconnection date is mentioned here, that is 31/12/2025. So they are giving you a time of about 25 days before they disconnect the connection. So from 6th December till 31st, 35 days is given, and you have to pay the bill before 31st, otherwise your electricity connection will be disconnected. The contract demand here is nil. We haven't specified any contract demand from KSEB. Connected load. Connected load is basically the summation of all the electrical appliances in your house, be it your heater, AC, TV, fridge, fan, cooler, lights, etc. So you have to accurately calculate the summation of all the electrical appliances and all the watts and calculate the connected load. That is mentioned here. The security deposit is the deposit we have given the electric utility as an insurance, or if you fail to pay the required bill amount, they have a right to adjust it from the security deposit. Now they may increase the security deposit from time to time as per their requirements. So right now it's 11,262. If required, they have the right to increase it. So the meter number is the number of the meter or the net meter in this case for solar prosumer that is mentioned. So you can see in the where the electricity board is located in your house, what is the meter number, and write down the number that is mentioned here. So the meter digits, it's 8.1. The meter type is basically a, minute meter. If it was before you became a solar prosumer, it would have been a normal meter, but right now it's a net meter because there's import as well as export to the electric utility. The meter owner is KSEB. Now, the net meter can be purchased by yourself as a consumer, or you can take the meter provided by KSEB. So here the meter is provided by KSEB, so the meter owner is KSEB, and this is always preferred because they will take care of any damages that might occur. So the average monthly consumption of this particular consumer is mentioned here. That is in normal. So again, the 24 hours in a day is divided into normal zone, peak zone, and off-peak zone. So normal zone will be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That is solar hours. Peak zone will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is the peak time when the demand from the utility is maximum, as many house members are there during this time. Off peak will be 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., usually in the night, so the consumption will be less, and that is why it's called off peak. Now, the off peak will be about, or the normal will be about 10% discount from the normal rate, normal time rate, and the off peak will be about the normal rate, what is the electricity rate charged by the utility, and peak will be about 25% above the normal rate. So that's how the electricity bill is calculated from the monthly consumption as per the different time zones or power unit zones. So here you can come here, last bill reading date. So the last time the bill reading was taken, it was 1st of November. The previous reading date. Now, the previous reading was taken on the same day as the last bill, so it's again 1st of November. Previous meter reading status. It was a working meter. If it was a door lock or something, it would have been written here. Present reading date. Now, what is the current reading date here? That is 16/12/2025. So for this particular month, that's December, the bill is taken on 16 December. So 6 December 2025. Now, the present meter reading status is working. So the current status is also working. Now, this bill, which came on 6th December, you can say was a bill for about 35 days. How did I calculate that? That is basically that is the difference between 6th December and 1st November. That's around 35 days. So that's the duration of the bill. Now you can, in this 35 days, again the consumption you can see is divided into different time zones. That's normal, off peak and peak. So in the normal time, the solar hours, there will be solar, what do you say, export to the grid from many houses. That's why they have kept the electricity tariff at a 10% discount for import. So as you know, the import reading is 1653. The in final reading will be 1823. Now, if we go and calculate this on the calculator, it will be 1823 minus 1653. That is 170 units will be the import. That is correct here. There won't be any multiplication factor. OMF is multiplication factor. That is 1. So again, it's 170. Similarly, final reading minus initial reading for each time zone is given. Here you can see in during normal time zone, since it is solar hours, the export will be more than the import. So as the solar system has sufficiently sized, the export will be more than import. So once the present consumption requirements of the house is met, the excess solar energy produced by the solar panels is sent to the grid. So that is 557. Off peak will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. There won't be any export during that time as it's out of solar hours. So 3644 minus 3388, that's 256 units imported from the EV at that time. There won't be any export. For peak time also, for off peak is 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. rather. Peak will be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Again, there is no export. Import will be 2398 minus 2244, that is 154 units. So that's how the consumption is calculated as per the time zone. If you go to the next page, you could see what is the electricity section here. Again, it's mentioned. Consumer number is mentioned again. The phone number of the electricity section is mentioned. The bill number is also mentioned. The bill number will change from month to month. The last paid amount. So since this bill is paid, so that the last paid amount is also basically this bill. That is 403 rupees. The last payment date is when this bill was paid. That's bill generated on 6th of December was paid on 13th of December. So payable amount excluding ACED, accrued cash deposit is not there. So excluding that, the as on 8th of December 2025. Now that is what is calculated as 403. Now the solar generation in the last 35 days for which the bill was here, that is also calculated by final minus initial rating. That is 5234 minus 5 to 14 425 15 234 minus 14 525 7029 units. These many units were generated by the solar. So when we come to fixed charges is basically calculated based on the consumption over the several months. The average consumption over the last several months. So based on that, the fixed charge is calculated. So 288 in the normal, off peak will be 228, peak will be 200, 144. Based on that, the fixed charge is calculated. Now fixed charge here is 361.67 rupees based on our average consumption data. And the meter rent. So they are, since the meter owner is KSEB or the utility, they are charging a rent for it. So that is 40.83 rupees. So the sum total of fixed charge per meter plus meter rent is 403 rupees. That is, it is rounded off by zero point 0.5 to the higher value. That's how it's 402 point something as a decimal place is rounded off to 403 rupees. Now, please note that even if you are a solar prosumer, you have to pay the fixed charges. This is the base amount. Even without any net import, or if your net export is higher, still there won't be any energy charges, but you have to pay what is known as the fixed charge plus meter rent. That's 403 rupees. That again changes based on your fixed charge calculation, etc. So the surcharge, reconnection fee, interim bills, arrears will be zero. So since this bill is already paid, 403 rupees is less paid or adjusted, so less advance is zero. So 403 total amount minus less paid, that is 403 equal to net payable as 0 rupees. So you have different payment options: cash, check, DDMO, or in the KCB app or the KCB website. So you can also pay this on other platforms like BPPS, Friends, Akshaya, CSC, NACH, etc. So that's what is the net payable calculation. Now, once we go to the next page, you can see the about your solar plan specifically. What is the consumer number? What is the consumer name? Please note that the consumer name should match with the uh, tax name or the land tax name for the building or property tax of the building, that consumer or that owner's name. It can't be different from that. So that should match your. The S pin number is your solar pin number, which is unique for every solar prosumer. That is unique for everyone. That is mentioned here. The plant capacity here 700 units has been generated for a plant capacity of about 6.54. Now, grid is connected on whichever date the grid is connected, that is mentioned here. The bank statement uh, for December. Units imported will be 580 units. And units exported is 557. Now, how is the units imported 580? That again, we come to the first page. So, units imported will be equal to units imported in the normal zone, that is 170, plus units imported in the off-peak zone, that is 256, plus units imported in the peak zone, that's 154. So, if we calculate that on the calculator, you can see 170 plus 256 plus 154. 580 is the units imported, but units exported is only during the normal zone, that is 55. So that is why units imported is 580, units exported is 557. So the net export is basically negative because you have imported more than you have exported. So net export is basically minus 23 units in this case. That is 557 minus 58. So you have already 738 units in your bank. That is banked balance. That is basically the net export you have from the month of April till the month of December. That is now. Oh. So the bank units is calculated in the financial year basis from April 1st to March 31st. That is uh, financial year. So you are 738 units. Now, since the net export is minus 23, you have to do 738 plus minus 23. That is 715. Your bank units has decreased because it is adjusted from the import of 23 units from the grid. That's how bank closing is calculated. The bill consumption will be zero. Now you have the consumption adjustment report on the next page. You can see the last 2 months data here. So November and December, PNO is P is for peak, N is for normal, and O is for off peak. You can see the peak import. is 154. Let's see if it matches here. It's, yeah, the peak import will be 154. It matches here. Now, the peak in normal time is 170. Again, in import will be 170. That is again matching here. And the off peak in will be 256. Again matching here. So please note that you are only charged for the import of units from the electricity bill. That's why only import is mentioned here. The export that is there is only for normal time. So that's 557. So here you can see 557 is the export. So that is mentioned here. Export plus bank. So the bank balance is basically the closing balance of the last month. That's 738 units. So your export in the current month is added to that previous balance. That's 557 plus 738. So if you calculate here, that's 557 plus 738. 1295 is the export plus bank balance of till the last month. Now solar energy or bank energy X factor will be 0. So again it's 1, or it is 1, that's 1295 into 1, that is 1295. What is adjusted from the bank? So your net import that you have calculated here, that is 580, will be adjusted. That is why, that is the how the bill is calculated. So you have 1295 and you are adjusting 580. So that's how you calculate 1295. If you calculate here 1295 minus 580 units, that's 750 units. Bill consumption is 0, so the closing balance or bank balance of December will be 715 units that you are taking forward to next month. This can be taken forward only up till March 31st. So that's 3 more bills only. So once it's April, the bank balance will be 0 as it's a new financial year. So make sure you use up your bank balance by March 31st. Or if you want to get payment, the payment is around 3.25 it was in the last financial year. So how do you calculate the amount you will get from the utility for net feed-in tariff? The feed-in tariff is 3.25 and you multiply that by your bank balance, that is 750. Suppose I had finished the financial year with 715 units, I would have got 2,323.75 rupees from the KSEB, that is electricity utility, uh, based on the feed-in tariff of 3.25 and the units exported as 750. So 750 into 3.25 is 2323.75. So here you can see factor 0, rating not accepted, toll log or apply wheeling charges, etc. Here there is no wheeling charges since we are not giving away energy to any other consumer number or consumer. So that is not here. So this is the consumption adjustment report and you can compare your readings with the last month. So here again more export was observed during in December compared to November. So, hope you have understood how an electricity bill is calculated properly using the bill data. So, this is how you calculate the payback period also. You can refer to solar2all.com for detailed calculations. Thank you.